Last night, the Warriors beat the Rockets 103-89. You talk about scores that feel like throwbacks, and the result was literally in the score for the Rockets. 89 points. They could not score. Like, that became abundantly clear. And there were multiple stretches throughout the series where the Rockets offensively just completely shut down. The Warriors finally got their offensive surge really in the fourth quarter. They go up 20. Steph Curry is now 5-0 all-time in playoff series against the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets have never beaten Steph Curry in the playoffs, which...
That's misleading. Because James Harden is so bad. He's effing bad in Game 7.
But isn't that crazy how much we were reminded of the difference in superstar performance in a Game 7? Like, Steph Curry, you go into Game 7, and the assumption is Steph Curry is going to find a way to get it done. With the Clippers, you go into Game 7 with James Harden, and the assumption is James Harden is going to lay an egg. And both of those things came to fruition over the weekend.
Yeah, we didn't forget. We knew. No. We just wanted to see it play out.
We see it over. And even with Steph, like, God, you're the Rockets, and your entire strategy is make anybody but Steph Curry beat us, which is a really good strategy, especially when you have Amen Thompson. And I will remember the first round of this NBA playoffs as the official starting point of the Thompson twin hype train, because both were tremendous. Asura for the Pistons, Amen for the Rockets, and he was defending Steph Curry in a way that Curry legitimately looked uncomfortable. And the Rockets have so many bodies that they can throw at him in that way. The problem is Buddy Hield then goes off for 33 points and makes 9 threes. And Steph Curry catches fire late in a game. The inevitability factor of Steph Curry remains undefeated in sports. And he gets his night-night moment in Houston, has 14 points in the fourth quarter, and really puts the screws to Houston in the end, which feels like it was always how it was written to end.
I knew that game was over. Game 6, Steph Curry is walking off of the court.
No.
And his son is there. I forget the kid's name. Son is a big boy. Mm-hmm. Holy hell. If his son keeps growing like that.
Cannon.
With that name?
Cannon.
Huge. Get ready. That dude is going to be in the NBA in the next 10 years. Either way it goes, that the son is embracing the mama, crying. Grandma's sitting next to him. Steph's like, yo, what is he crying about? It's like, oh, you lost. It's like, hey, we played one more. It's like, no, but you lost today, Dad. I can't handle it. Crying. It's like, oh, okay. Steph is going to come out and just torch these dudes. His son is crying. They made the boy cry. Steph's not going to let that stand.
I didn't think they were going to have a choice. Chris was out. Chris thought the Warriors were absolutely doomed. They were manhandled in Game 6. And it was kind of like an F around and find out moment, because we will never know if they could have competed and come back in Game 5, but they didn't try. In Game 5, when Kerr pulled the starters halfway through the third, and then the bench guys, the legend of Pat Spencer, comes out, and they get it within, I think, 13, and they never put the starters back in and just essentially wash their hands of it. Now, I will say, from a saving minutes on a 37-year-old Steph Curry body, every minute counts. And for Steph, who's dealing with the thumb, for Jimmy Butler, who ever since he took that hard fall on his booty, feels like he's been a little bit more hobbled. But I think the issue turned into, could you trust Buddy Hield and Brandon Podziemski to hit the big shots, if not every shot? If Steph Curry was not able to go off for 50, who was going to contribute around him? And I don't think until last night there was a ton of trust that Buddy Hield could have that kind of performance in a Game 7, but then he shut everybody up. It was incredible to watch. That Warriors team, they just won't die.
Game 7 on the road, big game from Buddy Hield, right? That don't know exactly what the stats are, but I do know stats from last game and the stats for the total series. But I do know watching it, sure does feel like Green is not that dude, right? We're going to, at a certain point in this offseason. I thought
you meant Draymond Green for a second. I was like, no, he is committed to being the version of dude that he is.
Yeah,
but yes, Jalen Green,
excuse me. We're going to hit something might pop up in this off season, maybe a off season workout that gets people really excited. He'll probably have a terrific regular season next year, a start to the regular season next year, and you'll be like, oh, Jalen Green, or somebody be like, oh, Jalen Green this, Jalen Green that, and I'll be over here like, I don't like him. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I don't like him is because here he is in the playoffs, and he's fumbling, bumbling, stumbling about, looking like a end of rotation type player, not like the superstar face of the franchise, the dude in the Wingstop commercials that everybody is treating him like. You know, it's great to have the stats. You get the stats to make us pay attention to you so that we watch you as you continue your ascension. This was a Warriors team that was very beatable, very gettable. Somebody who you were the higher seed. You had home court advantage. You had Game 7 at home. And
does that sound familiar outside of the Game 7? Sounds a lot like 2022. Like the Warriors were not a perfect team. And then they end up winning a championship.
Wait, I don't care about the Warriors. This isn't about them.
No, I know. But my point is the Rockets had the opportunity. That's why the Rockets are now in that critical time of you were operating ahead of schedule a little bit, but then you get into the 2 spot and you were still perceived as a weak 2 seed. But now how do you make this team better? Because I'm with you, CJ. Like Jalen Green does not appear to be that. I'll argue, I don't think Alperen Sengun can be your primary. I think he could be a phenomenal number 2, but you have to get a primary scorer if you're Houston. And now the conversation all turns towards Kevin Durant, and I don't think that's the right move either because I love Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant would make a lot of teams a lot better in the immediate, but Kevin Durant is old, and this Rockets team is really young. And I know their general manager has talked about like wanting to find somebody who fits in the age core-wise, and they'll go all in on Giannis. Everybody's going to go all in on Giannis if there is any world where Giannis leaves Cream City, because the Milwaukee Bucks posted that picture. I was
cash rules everything around me.
Yeah,
well,
but I always
cash
forget
rules
that
everything
Milwaukee
around
is
Milwaukee.
the Cream City.
Yeah, cash rules everything around Milwaukee. Turn up. Let's get it. 8 points. 8 points is not going to cut it.
No.
For if you're telling me that is somebody who you
and
think
if that's your
as a legit
dude,
number
he
one.
has 8 points. That's why you lose.
8
It's
points.
I mean, it's one of the primary reasons, and it's why you look at a Rockets team that could not score.
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m.